Madam Chair, we outline.
Thank you. Good evening and welcome to tonight's meeting of the Bayside City Council's local planning panel. My name is Marcia Downey and I'm tonight's chair for this evening's. I'm the chair for this evening's meeting. Before we start, I would like to acknowledge on behalf of the council and on behalf of the panel, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians, the Gadigal and Bidjigal people of the Eora Nation, and pay respects to elders past, present and emerging. The people of the Eora Nation, their spirits and ancestors will always remain with their waterways and the land of birth. So just some housekeeping before we start. So the purpose of the Bayside Planning Panel is to consider planning proposals of any scale and value and to determine development applications where the value is less than $30 million, where there's a potential conflict of interest, is contentious development, there is a substantial departure from development standards, or is a significant development. As many people know, council no longer deals with those development applications. In particular, the panel must consider development applications which have attracted 10 or more unique objections in a public meeting. So this is the public meeting of the panel. Other development applications can be considered outside of the public meeting, and all decisions are published on council website normally within 10 days. This public meeting is being recorded and is live streamed to council's YouTube page. The recording is an official record of council and may be made available to anyone on request in accordance with freedom of information legislation. Applicants and members of the public that are registered to speak on an item will be asked to unmute their phone or computer at the relevant time to address the panel and to answer any questions. Alternatively, members of the public may be registered for the meeting by written submission, which has been provided to the panel members. Once the panel has heard from all the speakers, including applicants, we will either make a decision during the meeting or adjourn to consider our decision. And as previously mentioned, all decisions of the panel are published on council's website, generally within 7 days of the meeting. Before we continue, I'd like to ask the other panel members to introduce themselves, please. Larissa.
Hi, I'm Larissa Ozog, planning consultant. Sit on a number of panels. And an expert in planning.
Scott Barwick, I'm a solid planner, appointed as an expert member to the council's panel. Like Bruce has had a number of panels.
Thomas Wong, I am the I am a town planner. I work in the local government, not the council, but another council. I'm a team leader of development construction, and I hope you to get contribution.
And as I already said, my name is Marcia Downey and my expertise is in planning law. I've worked as a lawyer for about 35 years. I also sit on other panels and am involved in the other committees and boards. And my other area of expertise is in public administration and governance. So we will now ask for any apologies. I think we don't have any apologies this evening, and ask the panel for any disclosures of interest. I don't have any disclosures of interest in relation to tonight's agenda.
Scott Barwick, I have declared an interest in item 5.2. I'm a director of SJB Planning, and the urban design report for item 5.2 has been prepared by SJB Architecture. So while they're two separate financial entities, there would be a potential perception of a conflict, and accordingly I've excluded myself from the consideration of that matter.
Noted, thank you.
Yeah, and I'm just declaring an interest because I do consult for health infrastructure, which is an arm of Health New South Wales. So in respect to matter 5.2, where the ambulance station is involved or is part of that development site. However, I don't believe there's an impact of my association because I do not deal with any of the program and works relating to ambulances for this site. I deal with providing advice and guidance from a planning perspective on hospital sites. So I think there's no actual impact, although I do have an association of industry.
So just to be clear, Scott has a conflict of interest in relation to that item, and Larissa doesn't have a conflict, but is declaring the interest for transparency. So thank you for that. They are noted. And we have some minutes of previous Bayside Local Planning Panel of the 7th of March. And the panel knows that the minutes of that local planning panel held on the 7th of March have been confirmed as a true record proceedings by the chairperson of that meeting. So that takes us to the only item on tonight's agenda in this public meeting of the panel, and that is a modification application for 2 Cook Park Crimea. This is a application under section 4.55 of the EPA Act to modify the existing development consent, which permits operating hours up to 10 p.m. Every night, and this application seeks an extension of those hours to midnight on Friday nights and Saturday nights. We don't have any registered speakers for this item. The panel did visit the site this afternoon, as we did all of the items on the non-public meeting, the public meeting, and we've also had the benefit of the assessment report on this item prepared by the council planner. This matter has come to the panel because it involves the Crown land for which the council is the Reserve Trust manager. And so for that reason, it's come to for our consideration, and the panel has considered the application and will make our determination after the meeting. But we can say for the record that we propose to approve the application, but we also propose to add additional conditions to the application, which will ameliorate any impacts on the residential area directly opposite the premises. So that will involve additional conditions of consent and additional conditions of consent that also require amendments to the plan of management in relation to noise and also in relation to the pending use of the site after the approved operating hours. So if there's no other business, that concludes this public component of tonight's meeting. So I declare the meeting closed at 6:10 p.m. and the live stream will cease at this point.